Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video we're going through the Hawthorn vs Melbourne game, in which Melbourne ran out pretty convincing winners by 59 points. I had them by 40, which was a very conservative tip because I guess I knew that they were going to win. Like, I was 99% sure that they were going to win, so I was like, it's either going to be, I didn't want to lose something like 60 margin or something like that for the tipping. So I was like, 40 points, okay, it gives me a little bit of leeway in case they go on and smash it like they did with GWS winning by, 70 odd points, or in case they win it by like 20. So going 40 I think was actually a really good, I think it was a smart choice rather than going for the actual margin per se, going for a choice where I wasn't going to lose as much. I knew that I wasn't going to necessarily get the margin close, but I knew that I was going to lose less. So in the end, I only lost, I think, 19 points to the margin, which was really, really good. But anyway, before we actually get into the fantasy recap for it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on. There should be, this week, given that it is my back week for university, I should be able to get some other videos out for the channel. And that'll include, I think, a Swans season review, and then potentially what the off season will look like for the Swans. I think that'll be a good view since they're out of finals, obviously, and we sort of know what their targets are, etc., and what's going to go on. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the intro, and let's actually get into the recap here. I need to get used to these new hotkeys that I've changed since I changed up and added an extra screen for the when we use the iPad. But for this game, it was not the best fancy game, and Bates 96, she did really well. From memory, I think it was more later on that she was from the start. It was Lucas Rod Lucas Rod in the first and the last quarter. Trying to remember who had a really hot start and then just fell away. I don't really remember. Was it more of the Melbourne girls? It seems like most of the girls that had a hot start sort of just didn't slow down per se. So yeah, interesting. That's certainly one to look at. That no one really fell off in this game. So Bates 96 from 21 touches, 3 marks, 9 tackles, a huge output game for her. I guess 96 isn't the best, but it's really hard to gauge what a good score is at the moment because you have some of the midfielders like Marinoff. If we just look at Marinoff's stats here, Marinoff is averaging 133, I believe. That looks 133 looks right, I'd say. Yeah, 133 definitely looks right with that 174. Let me just do that. Divide 112 plus 125 plus 124 plus 174 divided by 4, yeah, 133.75, which is 133.8. So yeah, you have girls like that who are doing 133s, and then all the other lines it's like 80, 70. So it's really, really, really tough to really realize, and I got caught out this week with thinking that it's imperative to upgrade the midfielders when it was actually imperative to get rid of those rookies who have had role changes, etc., like that on the like Cordner and Phillips. I should have gotten out of them quickly, as that would have been that would have helped a lot more. Anyway, so you have Lucas Rod, Ashmore. She's a midfielder, but she sort of plays as a defender, which is really weird. McDonough, I think, 64. Wales, 62 in the ruck, 11 hit-outs. Wasn't the best. We sort of saw a low hit-out game looking at this 32 hit-outs to 23. Then we go over here with Gilroy. Fleming, 58, down back with 21 touches. Deed, 9 touches for a 54. Stratton only had 6 touches for a 51. She looked alright. I mean, she had a chance to, I think, kick a goal as well at the end of the first quarter, and that missed, and got rushed through for a behind, so that would have been 56 with that. Bodie, 50. Elliott, 49. Bascarin, 45. Everest, 41. She looked alright. She started strong, I remember. She was one of the ones that started strong-ish. She got 10 in the first bout. 3 minutes, then did nothing for the rest of the quarter, then did nothing until about late on in the second quarter to get to 19, and then had a good third, and then a pretty weak fourth quarter, which sucks, but still good cash gen there. She was 393k. Wouldn't be surprised if she goes up to like 480, something around there, and hopefully she can be that second wind of cash gen needed for me to upgrade some players. I'm going to be using Stratton this week, as Stratton should be, I'm going to say, probably 750k, I would say, for Stratton. But yeah, I think Stratton, a little bit underwhelming, 20 points underwhelming, I think, for what I expected from her. Hipwell, Brown, Smith, Richardson, Luke. Good thing that I didn't go Luke now, because she's put in a couple of shockers after that round 1 performance, just due to a role change. Then we move over to Melbourne, and here's the tough one for Melbourne. They're such a good side, but they evenly share around the point so much that you're going to have, like, Purcell here, 105. If we look at Purcell on... I'll do it like this, and you'll see what I mean, I'm pretty sure. You look at the average, Hall 98, Purcell, Hanks, Paxman. They're such a good side, but look at that split. None of them are really competitive, whereas if you look at, like, Adelaide, you got the 2 ones here that are ultra competitive. Brisbane, you got Anderson, who's competitive. Even Carlton, you got this. Collingwood, you have the 2 sort of competitive mids. Essendon, you'll have Prisparkis, and Too Good is really competitive, and Nanscorn was really good as a rookie. You got Bowers, who's sort of there or thereabouts, Prisparkis, Morrison, and even McDonald to a certain extent for the Cats. Gold Coast, you got the 2 mids, and Dupuis sort of competitive. GWS doesn't really have anyone, but they're a bad side. Hawthorn even has... Bates is sort of, but not really competitive. Then you got Melbourne, then you got North, who's got Gardner, Riddell, King. King's almost competitive. But looking back at Melbourne here, you have Hall 98, who's very, very competitive, but then Purcell, another midfielder. 84 is not really good enough. Hanks, 83, not good enough. Paxman, 72 or 71 isn't really that good. So they've only really got Hall, and being a top, I would say, second or third best team at the comp at worst, to them only having 1 competitive fantasy scorer, it's really weird, and it really aligns with what Geelong were doing in the past years with Tommy Stewart being the only good Geelong player. Swans, you sort of, before Errol Gordon, didn't really have, you only had sort of Mills that was competitive. These sort of sides that are really, really competitive, but only really have 1 or 2 options fantasy-wise is quite ridiculous. And they don't really have any rookies as well, so that sort of aligns with what Geelong do regularly with the men's side. So I just find it really interesting that they they spread it out so evenly, so that's why you try and almost stay away from them, except for Hall, who looks... I need to look at her percentages, but I think Hall's going to be be needed because of 92 here. And just trying to find get her, because I don't like Too Good's role necessarily, even though she's scoring well. And Morrison, I think, is going to be suspended after that bump. Or she should be, because she extended her elbow out and collected the opponent in the head. So that should be suspended, but I don't know how they will look at it, I guess. Hank 77, as we said, 26 touches for a 77, just no non-disposal points. Paxman 76 is that, yeah, 76 with a 19 disposal effort. West is 74, 19 disposal effort. Good 7 tackles there, so that was a good effort from her. McNamara, 17 touches, 5 tackles, 2 marks, and a goal, 1 goal, 1, but 3 free kicks against, so it killed her score. Harris, Mithun, Pearce, just see how they all go in like the 40s to like 70 range. There's so many here, whereas if you look at the 40 range here to 70 range here, it's all, well, not even 70. If you look at it's just so many in the 40s and 50s and 60s for them, which I think just contributes to them having such a high fantasy output, but no one really going ballistic. And I think that's pretty much it for the episode, for this video, I guess. So that is the video recap of the Melbourne versus Hawks game, in which it was sort of over at halftime, I believe, or something like that. It was over pretty quickly, in which Melbourne ran riot, to be honest. And yeah, just glad I got the tip right there and pretty close with the margin. to sustain. I think it went up something like 30 spots with this one, just because I got the tip close enough, and I think some people just went with Melbourne by like 10 points, which was, I don't think, ever going to happen. But yeah, that is the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one, which will be the GWS versus Adelaide game. Bye, guys.